Hello everyone, welcome to our webinar. Let's take 1-2 minutes to let other people join and we will start. So, yeah. Okay, so let's start slowly so everyone can join. We already have enough attendees. So the subject of today's webinar is You Can't Protect What You Can't See, and our sales engineer, Alexander Denev, will present it. Let me go through housekeeping rules. So if you can't hear us or you have any kind of troubles, try to reconnect and come back with the phone audio, or if computer audio doesn't work, so reload is always an answer. If you have any questions, please submit them in the questions or in the chat. You have both panels available. This session is recorded, so you will get the recording on follow-up email and on the website where you have registered. So no worries, everyone will get the recording. So let me give the mic back to Alexander, who will be presenting today.
Thank you, Ksenia. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Alexander. Thank you for introducing me. I'm a sales engineer in progress for a couple of years now, and currently I'm responsible for WhatsApp Gold solutions. Probably some of you know me, probably some of you don't. And also I'm working with Flowon solution, so that is matter of another topic. First, let's say a few words about progress for those one of you who are not familiar what we are doing and who we are. We are recognized as a leader in application development and deployment technologies, both in application experience and digital experience platforms. We have more than 30 years of history, and Progress is the largest software company with the majority of its revenue compared to some other software companies. So pretty much our reach and success have been accentuated by over 70,000 software partners that build their applications based on our solutions. We also have more than 100,000 enterprise customers around more than 775 countries and in every major industry. As told, there are also over 6 billion business users and over 100 million consumers that will use applications that run on Progress technologies. So from that perspective, let's move on actually to the topic which we are together today. And we'll talk about what is the dark web. So first of all, the dark web is a network, a sort of an internet resource, and it could not be accessed via a regular browser through your computer. So the different search engines out there, like Google or different search engines, they could not index the dark web. So its main purpose is to be impossible to survey, to track. So systems are especially set for privacy, and this of course brings a lot of concerns to the security and IT departments out there in the enterprises. Uh, and this said, there's also a deep web, which is different compared to the dark web. So the deep web, you might think of it as internal company resources. So they might be protected by the uh, by your firewalls. So they're also not indexed. So but they are behind in the private networks, behind the firewalls within the enterprise. But these resources still can be accessed by a number of users, which are the company employees, like by establishing a VPN connection and so on. So make the difference between deep web and dark web. So what's actually, let's talk a bit about what's actually in the dark web. So pretty much the majority of content, which is let's say hidden there or sitting there, is criminal activity. So that might include like drug trafficking, arms tracking, and probably also selling, stolen identities, passwords, child pornography, which is also a very big concern. So most of the majorities of the criminal activities within the uh, IT organizations is I mean between the criminal activities and the bad guys out there, the hackers. So imagine if they make some data retrieval from a company through some hacks or viruses. Usually, if they want to exchange that data or sell it or whatsoever, they usually go to the dark web. Also, dark web is, of course, sometimes it's some users might need to access dark web. For example, some journalists which are making an article about something, and if they have resources or people, uh, they might actually need to access that to get that data and type and write their article. Uh, so in terms of payment, apparently most of the transactions or money exchange happens through cryptocurrencies. So basically, let's talk now a bit about why is actually important to monitor the dark web. Um, so as we already identified, the dark web traffic is illicit. Um, and of course, most organizations does not want to allow connections to the dark web. Um, so there are some legitimate privacy users of Tor. So the Tor or Onion, because it has multiple levels of encryption. Uh, so the different resources for interchanging of drugs, weapons, or any other illegal stuff, most of organizations does not want their network to be connected to the dark web. I have gave you an example of a situation where uh, an organization, like for instance a newspaper, might want to permit this connection to the dark web. For instance, if the journalist is making the research or typing an article about something, so uh, you can differentiate between two different scenarios. Why also is important to monitor it? Of course, the enterprises, the companies, they want to prevent identity theft of some stolen credit cards, numbers, bank login accounts, person IDs, everything which is not allowed through, for instance, GDPR. personal data. So limiting the access to identity thieves is another important thing to prevent. And after we have defined we have given some data, some information about the dark web, why it's important to monitor it, and now it's good to define what are the benefits of monitoring the dark web. So we already talked about this, but to prevent the stolen data, so sometimes the data exchange on the stolen information could not happen by the company users intentionally. So they might not even be aware that their computer or company resources are retrieved and exchanged. So from that perspective, the user might not be guilty in this case. Let's say it that way. So for us, as a software vendor, as a vendor of monitoring solution, it's important to give the companies, the enterprises, the ability to monitor this type of traffic, and that will give us also the administrators, the companies, a limitation to access this identity thieves within the network. So the business risks could be very catastrophic from that perspective. So imagine a user or resource by accident access some I don't know, child pornography, for instance, and or exchange some stolen data that could impact on many levels the company, and at the end the company might need to close its business, because this is a huge reputation strike point on the company activity. So that's for sure why we want to monitor this type of illegal activities. And now let's talk about WhatsApp Gold and how it actually could help you visualize and actually identify if there are such of activities within your corporate network. So first of all, WhatsApp Gold has a module called Network Traffic Analysis, which allows you to monitor the suspicious traffic. And we're going to talk about more details on it. I'm going to show you also a short demonstration on how that's done. So WhatsApp Gold also ships with a list of Tor nodes, IP addresses, which is built into the product. So um, most of the Tor IP addresses out there are well known. So with network traffic analysis, you have the ability to monitor them and to get notified in case of any suspicious traffic is passing to your network. Before we jump for a demo, first let's define what is WhatsApp Gold. So in brief, we have an abbreviation WUG, but it stands for WhatsApp Gold. So WhatsApp Gold can actually monitor anything connected to your network, anything which has an IP address. So that could be every device within your organization network, router, switch, computers, access points. Additionally, we can monitor some cloud resources, virtual environments, applications, and lately we have introduced log management, which brings another level of visibility on what is going on within your network. The discovery engine is also another very powerful tool of WhatsApp Gold, which gives you the visibility of the connected devices, different dependencies, bottlenecks, performance characteristics, And by getting all of that information from your network, you can get notified via different methods, via emails or SMS, and not only, we have built in a lot of different actions which could be triggered. And on the configuration and change management, from that perspective, you can track and manage your network devices configuration changes. And according to some compliance audits, which will give you another level of single pane of glass. So you could see actually if your device's configurations have been changed intentionally or not. So after we have defined what is WhatsApp Gold, the next thing we want to talk about is why actually to use WhatsApp Gold in case of the described situation. So first of all, WhatsApp Gold is very easily to be deployed and installed. It matters of a matter of minutes, or and of course after the installation you can find and define your problems with WhatsApp Gold before they actually impact the end user. So you gain a visibility on your network, on your performance, on different suspicious activities, on many different levels. From a license perspective, WhatsApp Gold is very, let's say, simply licensed, so it's device based. For instance, there are some competitors out there which might license per monitor or per probe. So WhatsApp Gold is licensed always per device. Imagine you have a switch which is 48 ports. In that case, you don't have to license every port which you want to monitor. It's just per device. And of course, it brings another level on configuration automation, visibility on the inventory, which and what type of devices your company is operating. Not to mention the compliance audits. So this is sort of you can define the security compliance which your network devices has to comply, and then with this compliance and policy audits, you can actually verify if any device within your network is out of that policy, so you can take the necessary counter actions to fix that. So after we have defined WhatsApp Gold, how it could benefit you, let's now focus a bit on a demo. So I'm going to show you here on the screen a demonstration on that particular module, especially targeted for network traffic analysis. Give it a second to the page to load. So this is a live demo that happens at the moment. So first of all, probably for those who are not familiar with WhatsApp Gold, it has very simple web interface. Everything is quite well organized. All the functionalities are structured in their context menus. But in this case, we are going particularly to focus on the network traffic analysis and on the reputation library, which is going to give you visibility on suspicious connections. So in the IP reputation library that ships with WhatsApp Gold, so this is not configured manually, that came out of the box. We have a Tor list of different IP addresses. So here you can define the IP address which holds the reputation library, and if you poll it now, that and of course that could happen also automatically. Now I can see that we have retrieved 13,020 devices sorry, IP addresses from the website. So last time I have polled this was this morning, so now the system has retrieved 2 additional IP addresses. So these IP addresses are potentially, they could be part of the dark web. And with network traffic analysis, let me show you the dashboard, which is actually giving you the visibility, the information on that particular topic. First of all, you're going uh, to get information idea about top applications which are used within your network by your users. Then you can analyze the top conversations between different parties and the application which have been used by them. So you get actual visibility on what is going on within your network, how much data is retrieved or sent. So this usually is an indication a big amount of data transferred for a short period of time. This usually might be, yeah, it depends really on the company business, what the company is doing. So if the nature of the business includes sending or receiving big amount of data or files, that's okay. But in some cases, that might be a first indication that something is going wrong. And having the conversation visibility of the senders and receivers is also available. So that almost 2 gigabytes of data was sent between these 2 hosts. So you can always filter that conversation and actually get more details about the traffic which was passed, which was sent by which user and where it goes. So it also will give you a visibility on from geographical perspective where the data is being directed. And back to our initial topic. Now let me clear the filter so I can get more visibility about the suspicious connections. So for instance, if you remember our reputation library, I haven't mentioned that you can also provide a custom list of IP addresses which might be considered suspicious. So these 2 which came out of the box, they are pulled automatically, but you can also define your custom list. So for instance, if you don't want a user to enter internet or internet resource, you can define this list here within WhatsApp Code, and then in case if that user or computer is accessing a resource, that could be visualized here under suspicious connections. Of course, this is not a firewall, so it does not block the traffic, but it notifies you in case if that suspicious or prohibited IP addresses was reached somehow. So if we filter by this conversation, we'll get more detailed data about it. Okay, so on the reputation library, that was what I wanted to share, purely from perspective of how that works. So this is we use NetFlow as a protocol. So all the different versions of flow-based protocols can be used for that. So for instance, SFlow, JFlow, and here in the NTA source library, you could actually see, for instance, if you have an internet-facing router, you can configure it to enable the flows, and with that configuration, you can actually get visibility on that level. So from another perspective, you have also the ability to be notified in case if any suspicious traffic has passed through your network. So that's done through the alert center libraries, and especially you have an option to define a threshold, which in this case we are interested in network traffic analyzer suspicious connections threshold. So by default, this is applied to all NTA sources. An NTA source is a network device which is sending netflow data towards WhatsApp Gold. Of course, you have the ability to select a specific source only for this threshold, or you can use all available. So if we name this somehow Tor notification, or I don't know, suspicious connection, then we could select a notification policy. So the notification policy defines how we can be notified in case if the condition below is being reached. For suspicious connections, we by default, if WhatsApp Go detects that more than one connection is suspicious, according to the reputation library, in the some past period of time, then the notification policy would be triggered. So as you could see, the ease of configuration of this, you actually need to define notification policy, and then you need to specify the rules which are most convenient for you, and then you will receive an email, for example, if any host has tries to reach the dark web or the Tor network. Okay, so from that perspective, I would like to, because a demo of WhatsApp Go could last longer, because we have many modules and many powerful features, which today we haven't intended to be demonstrated. Before we move to the questions, if you have such, I would like to give you some hints about how to actually get WhatsApp Gold. We provide a free trial which is available for 14 days. So that period should be sufficient for you to test run the solution, so you can actually install it. It will be fully functional. All the add-ons and functionalities would be there. So it's an unlimited trial, and you can see how it will fit in your specific use case, and actually you can see how it will benefit your organization. So, Ksenia, back to you. Do we have any questions so far?
No, Alexander, I don't see any questions in the chat, not in the questions field. So yeah, let's give people a little bit moment to add it there. But at the moment there is nothing. So it seems that you made it very, very clear. So yeah, anyway, if you have any questions, you can ask them writing directly to Alexander or to me, or simply answering the follow-up email where it will be our website. So you can contact us via website or through your partner, or yeah, through our representative. So yeah, let's ramp up for today. Alex.
Okay, if there's no any questions, thank you very much for your participation. You can always reach to us for more detailed information on the WhatsApp code.
Yes, thank you everyone. Thank you, Alex.